Commissioner Thompson will be our last questioner.
Commissioner Kelly, I'm sure that you and Commissioner Scopetta and Commissioner Bruno have studied the occurrence of September 11th to a large degree. Do any of you have any concrete example or have heard any reliable information that any competitiveness or rivalry between the police department and the fire department interfered with the efforts on September 11th?
No, sir.
Mr. Bruno?
No, I do not.
Mr. Scopetta?
No, I don't think so.
Both Commissioner Romer and Commissioner Benvenisti have referred to the characteristics of Osama bin Laden and al-Qaeda. Smart, entrepreneurial, flexible, lethal. I place New York City in a very high rank of risk, as I'm sure everyone here does. But it occurs to me that one of the faults we have sometimes is fighting the last war, and if al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden are as flexible, smart, entrepreneurial as everybody believes, I'm trying to get the rational basis for assuming that New York City will be the target again for the third time rather than Chicago, Los Angeles, Boston, Atlanta, Miami, or perhaps a coordinated attack between a number of cities, not involving bombs or explosives or airplanes. So when you say that the federal government has increased the number of high-risk places from 7 to 80, I assume without increasing the pie, and therefore New York will get a smaller piece of the action. How do we solve that except by putting in massive resources into the pie, making the pie bigger? Because it's hard for me to see how we can safely make the assumption that New York should get a huge share relative to the other cities if al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden are up to what we think they're up to.
Well, I would say that it's consensus of the intelligence community that New York is at the top of the target list. I think it is the highest value, substantive, and symbolic target. When you talk about the so-called chatter, New York is mentioned more than any other place. When people in other countries talk about the United States, they talk about New York. We had a threat that involved the bridge in the Godzilla movie, and that's the Brooklyn Bridge. So, I mean, New York is America to a lot of the rest of the world. And again, it's clearly the collective opinion of the intelligence community that New York is certainly close to the top and not at the top of the target list. And what has happened in the dispersal of these funds is that city after city gets added, including transportation districts. That's how it went from 50 to 30. And once you get on that list, it's very difficult in the real world to remove a city from it. So it went from 7, as I said, to 80. I don't know how you solve that unless you put another layer of money in it. But the reality is the pie got smaller, and now there's a lot more pieces. So we're spending the money here.
One of the things we haven't mentioned today that concerns me greatly is the fact that this area is home to a very extensive port system. Only a very, very small percentage of the contents of freighters coming into the ports in this area are examined. To examine many more may slow down the nation's economy or require just incredible sums of money. Are you satisfied with the way we're protecting this area's ports and harbors now against the threat of a device, an explosion, or a nuclear device coming in on a ship?
No, sir, not.
And what do we do about it?
Well, again, it's a lot of it gets down to money, and we also need better manifest information, a much better sense of what's coming in on a timely basis of what's being shipped out. We have some people, we being the U.S., have some people through the Customs Service. I used to be Commissioner of Customs. I have them in Rotterdam and other ports. That program, I think, has to be significantly increased. I think probably right now it's still fairly symbolic and not nearly large enough to make a significant difference. But we need better information as to what's leaving. We need more inspections of containers before they leave other ports to come into the United States, and we need more inspections here. All of that ultimately gets down to money, resources to people, and technology. I don't think we have the technology really to do some of this yet. I think a tracking system of where containers are is also something that I think that's doable. But I know when I was in customs, the major shippers resisted that. That was pre-9/11. I don't know what their outlook is right now. So to answer your question, I certainly think we need a lot more work in that area.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.